some chat. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Chat from the Deep, our weekly live stream to post-session discussion. We talk about what just happened during D&D. This is the chat for session 59, so if you've not watched that session yet, please go do that, because that was honestly one of my favorite sessions of the campaign, I think. Top 10 session. I'm your DM, Eric, and joining me, we have Gottwald's player, Chris.
Hello.
And Max player, Raymond.
Hello.
You know, going into it, I didn't think it was going to be, I shouldn't say anything special. Obviously, I want all my D&D sessions to be special, but, like, there wasn't a big, like, boss fight or story moment or something like that. It was just kind of a dungeon crawl thing, and this was actually pretty challenging because...
This is the kind of stuff that you as a DM, you cannot predict.
Right. Yeah, there's these purely organic moments that happen that the players build off of, and I'm just, like, absolutely delighted from, and it's very... rare, but that's also kind of makes them not very rare, but it makes them special when these moments do happen and they align where like everybody's engaged, locked in, everybody has a thing that they're like a kind of a standout moment, you know, during the session, and it just fucking beautiful. But I want to talk about the very beginning, where I made Mac roll initiative with the water elementals. That was a big deal. You could probably surmise, but had the water elementals, at least one of them gone first, they have the ability where they can move into your space and basically like restrain you into their body. So I was going to do that and drag you back into the room and then really just start wailing on you. So that would have really kind of forced a fight down there. And then I would have had everybody else, you know, get a chance to like come up and realize you're gone, and then probably drag them in initiative and then like basically force a whole fight down there. But because you just went out the initiative, you were able to leave.
0.02 points.
Yeah, and I had it in my notes that's like they don't really pursue beyond their room, you know, and you didn't attack. So, and you made it so far where I was like, you know what, fuck it, we'll just count that as a wash. Even though like if we were playing a video game, then once they're hostile, right? Like I think that probably would be the case. But in this case, I was like, you know what, they're actually chilling in their room, they like it. You just opened the door and kind of surprised them, but you left. Maybe at one point they opened the door and look and there's nobody there.
Yeah.
Because you made it so far. So I basically kind of let you get away with it. But that was also my idea, was like, you know what, we're going to let the dice decide by rolling initiative. And then if Mac beats both of them and he decides to get the fuck out of there, then there's not going to be a combat here. And that's what happened. So that ended up really changing a lot of how the session went, I think, because there is...
Funny. Yeah.
That room is stuff in there that's involved, but which I'm going to.
Do you want? Oh, you won't? Okay.
I don't think so. If when we leave this whole area, we can go back over it, I guess. But I mean, there's it's a big area. You probably won't go back there, but I'll leave it a mystery for now.
I'll just say you don't have to answer this question. The only thing I was like, what if that like bubbly steam is some sort of like tunnel or something that I don't know, but.
Yeah, I can't. I won't go on anything.
I know.
Won't go over anything because you choose.
Just saying, it was like,
yeah,
because you said southeast. It's like, oh, is that?
Yeah, and that room is directly. Yes.
I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see. Yeah. Yep. So yeah, that ended up changing things, and you guys explored a little bit around kind of the rooms. We're like, okay, where are we going? And it's a big area, so. And then eventually,
the one place I skipped wasn't important. But I was just like, it goes in the wrong direction. So I was
right.
Yeah.
No, it's an interesting layout, I will say, with this dungeon, that it has a lot more layers and paths that you can take, but they're not necessarily the most efficient way to go.
This area kind of reminds me of our first campaign, the Prince of the Apocalypse,
yes,
where we're like in that just labyrinthine, interweaving dungeon.
Yes. Right. That was the reference I was going to use, the Fane of the Eye or whatever. Yeah, James, we'll get to that. So then you saw the Fisher part, which had the wisdoms, the fearful like wisdom save effect, because honestly the way it's written, there's nothing going on in this chasm. I was like, this is a good opportunity to have some kind of like creepy hazardous thing going on just for traveling through it, which did affect you guys a little bit and kind of
forced us into the other
kind of forced you into this little crypt area. The original enemies here were underwater ghouls. I don't know if I buffed or nerfed. Instead, I used this zombie cavefish creature from, I think it's Tomb of Beasts 2, maybe?
Okay.
Which is essentially a zombie with like twice the hit points and a swim speed.
Okay.
Which is not as offensively dangerous as a ghoul, but defensively sturdier which is usually not what you want to do with a DM. But then I added more of them. But then I thought it's actually kind of interesting to just have a big group of kind of weak enemies to see how you guys would deal with it. And I was delighted to find that you were the first one in there. You were like, let's fucking go.
Yeah.
And then Twirl dropped the Hunger of Hadar, and you were like, let's fucking go. And just constantly grapple, which the only bad thing is this would be much more fun on a video game where I'm not having to individually roll every 2d6 and apply that to every individual monster.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking that like halfway through, I was like, man, I love this situation, but like as the DM, it's a pain in the ass to be doing this constantly.
Yep. You're just constantly minusing.
Minusing. And you mentioned one point, like, man, I'm really like spreading out this damage every time. Like, yep, you sure are. These zombies had an average hit point of like 40.
Wow. Okay.
So it was ticking them down quite a bit. I loved that situation, and I also loved you like getting out of the way for Sovereign to just do an immensely powerful lightning bolt and had her big marquee moment just blasting her to
In
smithereens.
hindsight, I don't feel bad at all about all the damage I took there because it turns out it didn't matter.
Yeah, that's true with the Banshee Whale.
With the Banshee. Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah. But you did good about weaning them all so that the lightning
Yeah.
bolt just devastated them.
Lightning bolt
So
Yep.
I did like that. Yeah, and then you saw the Alcos to the east, which the way I changed it was to basically turn it into a randomized table because that's. Well, I guess I want to know your feedback, but every time I've created a random table like that, it always seems to go over really well with the players. Basically, we appreciate the like, oh, let's let fate decide on what thing happens here.
That's true, but also you couldn't have written it better than it happened.
I know, it's fucking crazy.
Yeah, to have the treasure trove be in the same tomb or crypt as a fucking banshee that auto kills somebody,
Yes,
is pretty appropriate. And have the other two be fine things, but ultimately probably superfluous things because I don't think money matters anymore at this point in the campaign. It's one of those things where it's like, when's the next time we're going to spend money?
It's a weird thing, right? Because like you guys just got like a huge, we forgot about that too. You got a huge treasure haul at the end of the last session, which I wrote this up with 10,000 gold piece. Like it is really cool, but it's kind of funny the way we play D&D, where it's like gold is like, it's like having a score at the end of the game or something.
Yeah.
It's like I don't really like we don't
bonus points.
If it's the middle of the campaign, sure we can spend money on magic items or something, but yeah, it's just like an end game score. We don't really do like I'm gonna buy a house and investment and all that. We don't really play D&D that way.
It allows us at the very end to be in the epilogue, and then they retire to the country. And bought a mansion.
Basically, I fund my favorite charity organization. I guess.
That's right.
So I believe
it's like the end of those heist movies, right? They say this person did this. And
yeah. The end of Ocean's 11. The way it was written in the book, I think each one of them opens a banshee, and each one of them is full of a big treasure trove of money. So the way I changed it is to say, okay, you roll a d4 essentially. You have a 25% chance to trigger the banshee. You actually saw every single one, which is also insane.
Oh wow! Okay.
So it's a D4, and you saw 4 results, right? You saw the banshee, the bug out bag, the jewelry, and the armor. Yeah, that's literally the ones I created. Okay. And my idea was like, you only see the banshee once. So once you see that one, I take that one off, and you only see the bug out bag once. But you could see the armor and the jewelry repeating, and just get multiples of those. So yeah, you're right. I couldn't have done that better because you ended up seeing all 4 of them exactly.
All 4, yeah.
Yeah, which was kind of amazing.
That's pretty hilarious. Yeah.
I was nervous about using the Banshee because it's such a bullshit ability. Sorry. And the other thing is similar to I mentioned in the last session where it was I was going to use a shark appearing, but it sounds like now let's just use a giant shark attack. Well, here it was like, it spawns a Banshee that attacks.
Oh,
and I'm like, you know what? Let's just turn that into the Banshee does its most powerful ability and goes away. Because that's just so streamlined. It just cleans everything up in terms of like a trap monster.
I like that. I do.
I do too. Like I've been really using that more liberally. It's like, you know what? If it's a trap monster, let's just have it appear and do the thing. I can describe it differently if I need to. And then that's it. You don't have to sit there and actually roll initiative, have the combat, fight this thing out. Let's just have it do its most powerful attack, and that's it. But yeah, James, the fact that the burly Minotaur fighter failed the con save was nasty pants. Yeah, and you had pretty bad luck. You had a reroll on it, and you still failed, I believe.
I still failed. Yeah.
Yeah, so you technically failed 2 DC 13 con saves. And I thought about even changing that. I was like, God, do I need to nerf the Banshee? It's such a bullshit ability. I hate the ones that drop you to 0. But I was like, you know what? It's DC 13 con save. They have a 25% chance to even see it. Let's just go with it, and then it just happens.
Actually, yeah, and Lumpy brings up a good point. I didn't put this two and two together at the time, but it is everybody in 30 feet. That could have been fucking terrible.
Yes, it could have. It could have like almost wiped the party if the con saves were bad. Everybody been like, we need a long rest right now.
Yeah, exactly. We got to retreat.
now.
We got to find a place. Yeah.
Which is also something I didn't plan for. The fact that you're not all like making your way down the dungeon, and here we are opening the coffin. And, oh shit, that's 30 feet. Instead, it was just you there, which is also crazy. Shout out to Reese for like choosing to split the party. That doesn't happen too often. He's like,
I saw him like weighing it through most of that combat. Where he's like, I should go back, but it's more fun if I go forward.
So I did tease with the plan was always to script that moment of the villain talking whenever you guys made it past like a certain point into the east side of the dungeon.
Okay.
Which was a clue that like, oh, the villains are being alerted to the fact that you're entering the dungeon.
Sure.
So I'm kind of creating a slightly different situation here where there's like, I don't like the villains are alerted to you basically, where they're like, know you're coming and they can kind of get ready for it.
Yep.
That being said, you guys didn't linger too long because Toril just kept going and like, all right, I'm going to listen to the door. I'm doing everything. So I'm like, all right. So they're opening it because they're like still moving up to get in position basically. And then he decides like, all right, I'll go ahead and open the door. And so they literally faced each other. Yeah, that's when I rolled initiative for him. I love his move though, dropping the hand down as like a defensive thing was pretty cool.
Move.
Yeah.
This, I mean, we talked about this right at the end of the session. This is a very intense fight. Like like both fights. The zombie fight and the Swagan fight were both pretty intense.
Yeah.
And both of them kind of were intense because the rolls made them intense.
That's true. I skipped over the fact that I was hitting.
Got a bunch of crits.
What is your AC normally? Like average AC without anything else?
If I'm holding the shield, it's 22. If I'm not, it's 19.
Okay, so pretty high AC.
20 or 22. Yeah, those are the options.
Zombies have a +4 modifier to hit. They're regular ass zombies if they can swim. So the odds of me, I don't know what the percentage of me hitting you is, but it's not good.
You gotta roll.
It's like
if I'm not holding
10
the
or
shield,
15% or something. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
What that equals, but it's pretty damn. Now I do have and they don't have multi-attack. They have one fucking attack. Now there are a lot of them, and they all pretty much hit you almost or they try to hit you every round. So I'm having like 7 or 8 rolls, but still I should on average only hit you like once, maybe twice out of all those hits. Yeah. And I feel like I was, and 2 of them were crits.
Yep.
And I feel like I was nailing you quite a bit considering that. I was like, damn, this is doing some damage. So yeah, I
was fully ready to just tank all those hits and not take any damage. And I was like, oh man, they are weirdly hitting.
Yeah.
And then of course, that was that one. And of course, Reese's fight, just the rolls just were not on his side.
Similarly, he also has monstrously high AC.
Mm-hmm.
And his hand has the equal like huge AC. So the interesting thing there is the Baron, I don't think had a good range attack he could do, so he just attacked the hand. But the Marrow actually have great range attacks. They've got that scorpion, like, fucking come here spear thing. So I was attacking him like, and yeah, I think 1 attack, or 2 attacks hit him, and then the one finally was able to drag him.
Mm-hmm.
And then the freaking paralyze spell.
Paralyze, yep.
So it turns out having 4 solidly mid-tier enemies attacking 1 high-level player character gets a little dicey.
Yeah.
And I was, like I said, I was hitting with
pull
those.
And paralyze abilities. Yeah, you can sort of mess them up a little bit.
Shout out to fucking Lumpy Morgan for remembering the adamantine. I can't even fucking believe you remembered that. That is insane because
and then it came into such play
into such importance. Like I literally thought he would have gone down for sure. Like the fact that I would have gotten auto crits on all those last couple hits I was doing on him. Holy crap! Absolutely. And instead he can take nothing from, or they turn crits into normal hits, which is crazy. And I think we forgot because literally the few times I also critted way more this session than ever before.
Yes. Absolutely.
And usually you're nearby and you can deflect the few times I do crit, or not deflect, you re-roll, I guess.
The rune thing.
And I think that's why we've forgotten about his thing, is like, I don't actually crit you guys very often.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden this session it was going off like crazy. So that was a lot of fun. And then Mac being in a very unique position to see everything go down, be invisible, with like the check mark, it's like, see Toril in trouble, be invisible, have a potion of speed in your fucking inventory that you recently got. And I just love that you like really methodically like paused for a second. Like I have to unpack this whole situation and figure out how to efficiently get it out of there.
Yep. There's 3 burly looking guys. I know. I thought it was just funny. Like, I'm gonna follow Toro because I don't trust him. In terms of being invisible.
Rescuer.
Yeah. I was just joking around, but yeah.
It was amazing. It was just like right place, right time, right equipment. Because he would have been. I literally didn't have a plan. Like I didn't know when it was going to go down. Like I was. There are multiple paths to this whole east side. Like I had all kinds of contingencies and things planned to have happen. So this was all wild seat of the pants stuff. My only thing was I knew I was gonna actively defend this dungeon. I guess I can't talk too much about that, but like this is not going to be a situation on this side where like, oh, there's a room of bad guys in here. Like the bad guys know you're coming and they are going to be actively doing, and that's what is being reflected here basically. Is they're moving forward.
Toro would have been the one to lead that, split the party.
No, not at all, and not in that situation to where he was legitimately far away from half the party. And thank goodness it happens to be. You guys didn't know that the crypts to the south actually lead to the hallway, which Ray, I don't even know if you can see on your map, but basically the others are like down here. So they were below, parallel to you guys on top. So it actually worked out where they were coming up. And so I had a unique situation where I was like, all right, let's roll 1 initiative combat for just Twirl because Mac's still coming up. Then we include Mac because he saw everything go down. And then we're going to include Gottwald and Sabra because now they've I'm literally picturing like the Baldur's Gate, like there's some invisible barrier, like you get close enough and you go into that turn-based combat mode situation. Yeah. Although it worked out that it was like midnight by then. So I'm like, all right, let's holy shit, completely forgot about the MVPC poll because I was literally so fucking locked into what was going on. Usually I have time to sit there and be like, do and set all that up, but
there's a little bit of downtime where we're talking amongst each other or something.
Right, yeah. It's like, all right, I'm looking at the time and everything. I literally did not even glance at anything until I think it was Heather that said like something about midnight, and I was like, oh shit, like
it sure is.
We've been doing this for over 2 hours. Okay.
Yeah.
And I started typing the poll out, and I was like, no, fuck it, you're MVPC, let's go. Had your moment to shine. Take it. Which that's probably recency bias because you did the final last cool thing. Because I really think everybody
there were a lot of cool things tonight. There were a number of cool things.
Yeah,
races did not work out for him, but it was such a cool use of that ability.
It was a cool use of that ability.
To be like, I'm gonna barricade myself in this doorway and put the tentacle down as a.
I think I'm gonna make a note. Don't do it yet, but I'm gonna make a note at the start of next session. I'm gonna reward everybody inspiration just because of the play that went on during that whole session.
Yeah. Okay.
Because that was just amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, good bit of dungeon crawling. We had some fun exploration, had some fun like trap things going on, and then just some really good combat. So this was, I wrote, I have an ongoing in my notes. I write down literally like the memorable moments, like my favorite moments of the campaign. I apparently haven't done it for a while, which I'm sure we've had memorable moments.
I'm sure, yeah. We just forget to write
the last one I wrote down was session 43. That was a long time ago. So I guess I've forgotten about it, but I definitely wrote this one down. It's basically this whole session, like ongoing, is just absolutely amazing. Yeah, apparently you're actually faster than we thought too, Ray, because Demnix is saying with your, I think your Cloak of the Manta Ray gives you like an insane swim speed, and then your haste doubles that. Yeah,
it's 60 swim speed.
So if you dash, you have like 120 feet or something fucking insane. Or no, because it's doubled, so it'd be a base 120 with haste, right? That's crazy.
Yeah, swim speed is 60. I forgot we were in the water.
Right. And then also because Twirl happens to be small this whole time, then I'd let you take him without any kind of detriment, and just everything worked out beautifully. It was amazing. 10 out of 10 session.
yeah, it was a good one.
Yeah, blinging out the zombies, and now it's like,
which is funny because it's are the best sessions the ones where we're in dire straits and we have to really like
I mean, it's a tough thing to do with the balance, especially once we start getting these higher levels. I've been struggling a lot with the patron game. My patrons are annoyingly just complete, which I love you all, but they're very good at D&D.
Yeah.
Not to disparage you all, but they're very good at D&D. They know all the
Strategically
things.
minded, and
They do all the ability. They stay together, like, and it is hard to balance against. Especially the biggest problem right now is we have the big, it's all undead enemies at the end, and we have a cleric, which is a high level cleric, and is just decimating like every encounter. It's brutalizing, and it can be hard. Like, and it's a big reason why D&D campaigns end at like level 12 or something. Also, is I feel like Wizards also acknowledge the fact that like, man, it's just really hard to play D&D at these higher levels.
Yeah, it's hard to balance. Yeah.
It's fun for the players, but for the DM, I often struggle with trying to do these high level encounters. But I will say, gosh, splitting the party is a wonderful way to rebalance everything and make it very enjoyable. Because that was
That's also probably a common denominator among some of our best like moments.
It really is.
Sessions, is when we end up in split situations. Yeah,
I've always said that, like, since probably Tomb of Annihilation, like every time we split the party, it ends up being very memorable, very crazy, dire straight situation. It's something I wouldn't recommend again for newer GMs, but at this point in our D&D careers, it's just absolutely enjoyable as hell.
Yeah.
Even though it's often to the player's detriment, but it still creates some very, very fun moments. Anything else about session 59? Let's see. We did... Which rooms do we count as doing here? We sort of explored... So we didn't really do anything southwest. We didn't do the water elemental room, technically. So the Fissure was one thing. The Crypts is 2. And technically these are 2 rooms here, I guess. So we could count that as maybe 4 rooms of the dungeon we went through.
Yeah, right.
The whole Crypts is a big area, though, and it's all considered one room area.
One big hallway, yeah.
Yeah. But I think this is about as far as I expected. But again, without spoiling anything, there are multiple paths you could have gotten here. So it would have been really tricky to try to determine, but... I figured you guys would make it into this eastern side. I should say that.
Yeah.
Although technically we've only just scratched the surface of the first battle in here.
Right.
All right. I think that is going to do it for this week's chat from the deep. Thank you to Chris and Raymond. Thank you to all the wonderful fans for watching, and we will see you next week.
See you next week.
With a battle. It's always fun to start with.
With the battle. Yeah, that's right. We're gonna keep decorating Savra's zombie. Every crown,
Just keep
every
blinging it out.
Yeah.